Tonight on Ruby News, the big names are moving in every direction, from stadium-scale launches to fresh releases and headline-grabbing chart news. BTS opens a major tour run, Madonna and the Rolling Stones keep the release buzz alive, and the charts still have surprises in store. We begin with a stadium-sized launch that sets the tone for an ambitious global run. BTS kicked off the North American leg of the ARIRANG World Tour in Tampa, Florida, at Raymond James Stadium on April 25th. The tour supports ARIRANG, which the article says is BTS's first studio album in nearly 6 years. All 7 members completed South Korea's mandatory military service by June 2025, and they began working on the record right away. The show features a 360-degree, in-the-round stage with no designated front. The production also includes moving stages, Technicolor lighting, drone cameras, fire effects, confetti blasts, and fireworks. Based on early performances, the setlist moves from new ARIRANG tracks like Hooligan, Aliens, Swim, and Merry-Go-Round into legacy songs. There's also a BTS karaoke segment where 2 songs are chosen in real time from audience suggestions. For US dates, the official tour site has a 4-ticket per purchaser limit for each event. Resale tickets have also been listed on StubHub and Game Time. The global run spans more than 85 dates in 34 cities across 23 countries through March 2027, a powerful start for a tour built to stretch far beyond one night in Tampa. From a massive live rollout, we turn to a pop icon preparing a new album chapter for summer. Madonna's new album, Confessions on a Dance Floor Part 2, is set for release on July 3, 2026. It's her first full-length album since 2019's Madame X. The project is being billed as a sequel to her 2005 album, Confessions on a Dance Floor. Madonna teased the return with a post saying it felt like home with Warner Records, and she called it Back to the Dance Floor. She also made a surprise appearance at Coachella with Sabrina Carpenter, where they performed together, including Vogue and Like a Prayer. Madonna's next move adds another high-profile release to a packed pop calendar. And from an announced album to a carefully planted tease, rock's most durable names are back in the frame. The Rolling Stones are teasing a new album with billboards in cities around the world. The campaign includes Sydney and Paris, and the band's official Instagram account has shared images of the billboards. The signs feature the Rolling Stones logo and the same phrase repeated in different languages, pointing to a title of Foreign Tongues. Ronnie Wood said last year that fans would be getting a new album in 2026, and it's been more than 2 years since the release of Hackney Diamonds. For now, the band hasn't officially named the new record, but this rollout suggests more is coming. It's only a hint so far, but the billboards suggest the Stones are setting something larger in motion. Next, we check the numbers behind another veteran star still dominating across formats. Bruno Mars has 12 songs on at least one Billboard chart this week. His latest single, Risk It All, is hitting new peaks on rhythmic airplay at number 9, adult R&B airplay at number 11, and radio songs at number 18. It also re-enters digital song sales at number 23 after previously peaking at number 2. Older Mars tracks are moving too, with God Was Showing Off back at number 46 and Cha 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 at number 48 on Hot R&B hip-hop songs. I Just Might holds at number 1 on Hot R&B hip-hop songs for a 14th week, while That's What I Like returns to R&B streaming songs at number 14. The week also gives Mars a milestone 22nd top 10 on rhythmic airplay, as Risk It All keeps building across US Billboard charts. That kind of chart breadth says plenty about Bruno Mars' staying power. Staying with pop momentum, another Madonna headline lands far from the release calendar and into reader-voted territory. Madonna's I Feel So Free is number 1 on JENESAISPOP's weekly reader-voted chart. It gives her a 10th number 1 on the site. Madonna won with 52% of the votes on Instagram, ahead of Martin's 30%. Jessie Ware is number 3 with Ride, and Olivia Rodrigo reaches the top 5 with Drop Dead. MIA is number 10 with Everything, while Tyla and Zara Larsson land at number 11 with She Did It Again. The chart is built from a weekly playlist of 40 songs with 10 new candidates added each week. Between the chart result and the album news, her visibility this cycle is hard to miss. Fresh off the pop conversation, we move to a new full-length release from Kehlani. Kehlani has released her self-titled album, Kehlani. The project arrived on Friday, April 24, 2026. Some sources say the release coincided with her 31st birthday. The album is her 5th studio album and includes 17 tracks. Kehlani announced it on Instagram and wrote, "I am honored to present you with the album." The album is out everywhere now via Atlantic Records. A new self-titled set gives Kehlani another clear marker in a steady rise. The mood turns more serious now as we move from release news to a major legal dispute tied to one of pop's most scrutinized legacies. 4 Cascio siblings filed a lawsuit against Michael Jackson's estate in February 2026. They allege that Jackson drugged, raped, and sexually assaulted them, starting when they were as young as 7. The case was filed in federal court in Los Angeles. The siblings also say they were brainwashed and groomed to defend Jackson publicly for years. In an interview with the New York Times, Eddie Cascio said, "We were brainwashed." They say that public defense continued even after Jackson's death in 2009. The family had previously denied that Jackson had done anything untoward, including in a 2010 interview with Oprah Winfrey. Frank Cascio also praised Jackson in a 2011 book. The estate's lawyer, Marty Singer, denied the claims and called the filing a transparent forum shopping tactic and a desperate money grab. The lawsuit now moves forward as the estate continues to fight the allegations. A difficult and significant development with questions that remain firmly in the legal arena. From that heavy news, we turn to a tribute that reaches deep into the history of South Asian music. Asha Bhosle has died at 92 in Mumbai. She was one of Indian popular music's great playback singers. Sources say she recorded about 12,000 songs in more than 20 Indian languages and for more than 2,000 films. Her career stretched across nearly 8 decades. Her work helped define the era of the classic playback singers, alongside Lata Mangeshkar, Mohammed Rafi, Kishore Kumar, and Mukesh. Lyricist Samir said, "The era has come to an end with the passing of Asha Ji." Others in the industry said those singers were in a league of their own. Some also noted that today's music scene moves faster and songs have a much shorter window to catch listeners. Asha Bhosle was admitted late Saturday with a chest infection and exhaustion before her death on Sunday at Breach Candy Hospital. Anand Bhosle said her last rites would be performed on Monday. Asha Bhosle's influence spans generations, and the response reflects the scale of that legacy. Back to the live circuit now, where festival moments are still producing some of the most shareable scenes. Ella Langley made her Stagecoach debut in Indio, California, and she brought out Theo for a surprise duet on You Look Like You Love Me. The performance happened Friday night during night 1 of the festival. Langley had appeared on Theo Von's podcast just a few weeks earlier. Before Von walked off stage, Langley told the crowd, "Bet you didn't expect that. Keep 'em guessing." The song is an important part of her current rollout. You Look Like You Love Me won Song of the Year at the 2025 CMA Awards, and it reached number 1 on Billboard's Country Airplay chart in December 2024. Langley also said putting on the live show has been her number 1 dream, and her tour in support of Dandelion is set to kick off in May. A Stagecoach debut with a surprise twist gives Ella Langley a memorable springboard. Keeping that festival energy going, we head to another Stagecoach set with a different kind of nostalgia. Ashlee Simpson performed at Stagecoach on Friday during Emo Night at Diplo's Honky Tonk in Indio, California. She closed the set with La La and Pieces of Me from her 2004 debut album, Autobiography. Emo Night set the tone for the night with Y2K and early 2000s songs, and 3OH3 also appeared as special guests. Simpson recently performed in Las Vegas, and in a Billboard interview she said there is definitely new music on the horizon. Ashlee Simpson's set leaned into memory while still leaving room for what may come next. From festival ground to club dates, here's a live run that puts Ireland firmly in focus. Richard Fearless of Death in Vegas is bringing 3 concerts to Belfast and Dublin over the May bank holiday weekend. He says the shows come after a long career making music on his own terms. Fearless says he had chart-topping success with Death in Vegas in the early 2000s, but later chose to leave that phase behind. In 2004, he parted ways with his label and manager and moved to New York to study photography. Last year, after his father's death, he poured those emotions into Death Mask. He said it was a relief to go into his East London studio and write loud, throbbing music. Fearless also has family links to Belfast, where his parents met in the 1970s. He plans to return to the Mount Errigal area in County Donegal this summer for the first time since his father died. The Belfast show is on May 2nd at Mandela Hall, followed by Dublin dates on May 3rd and May 4th at the Button Factory. Those Belfast and Dublin shows should give Death and Vegas fans a concentrated weekend of noise and atmosphere. And to finish, we move from live dates into a new album cycle that brings politics and performance together. Kneecap are releasing Fenian on Friday, May 1st through Heavenly Recordings. The Irish-language rap group say the album is more directly political and darker than their 2024 debut, Fine Art. Mochara says it's a response to, quote, our year and the pressure around them. The band say recent controversy and court-related pressure shaped the record. They also say using Irish is a deliberate artistic and political choice, and they continue to use it to promote the language through their music. Fenian is set to launch with a show at Belfast's 750 capacity Limelight before festival dates in Ireland, Britain, and Europe, including AVA in Belfast on Saturday, May 30th. Kneecap's rollout points to a campaign with plenty to say on stage and on record. Finally, we close on the archive side of the business, where a classic catalog gets a careful new treatment. An 8-CD Gillan Band box set gathers newly mastered albums, bonus B-sides, rare mixes, and live shows. It's called Down the Road, the complete Gillan Band story. The release brings together the band's 3 studio albums from 1976 and 1977, Child in Time, Clear Air Turbulence, and Scarabus. Ian Gillan formed the band after leaving Deep Purple. He brought in Ray Fenwick, John Gustafson, Mike Moran, and Mark Nassif, with Roger Glover as producer. The set also reflects the band's cult following in Europe and its strong reception in Japan. It's presented as a catalog restoration of the band's 1976 to 1977 era, with remastered albums and archival live material. A reminder that music history still has room to be reopened, remastered, and heard again. And in one last live snapshot, we end with a pair of Dublin shows that connect decades of indie fan memory. Sleeper played their first Dublin gig at Opium, and just a few days later, the Miki Berenyi Trio played the Grand Social. The 2 shows brought 1990s, women-led indie acts to Dublin audiences, almost back-to-back. For the writer, it meant finally hearing long-loved songs live. Sleeper were a Britpop-era band that split in 1998, then reformed to record The Modern Age in 2019. Miki Berenyi is the former lead singer of Lush, a band from the early 1990s shoegaze wave that later reformed in the 2010s. The Miki Berenyi Trio's 2025 album, Tripla, was also part of the picture, and the writer's reaction was simple. This song, they're doing this song. That's a fitting note to end on. The past isn't just preserved in music, it keeps filling rooms. That's the shape of the moment in music. Legacy acts, new chapters, and live scenes all pushing forward at once.